What's up and welcome back to the Chris Gates Fitness Podcast. Thank you so much as always for joining me today. And there's a lot of exciting stuff that we're going to dive into in this episode. First and foremost, the topic here is one I'm really excited about sharing because I'm going to dive into just the craziness of my life and how I manage to stay consistent with my diet, with my exercise routine amidst a very busy schedule. Okay. And so I'm actually going to walk you through what a typical day looks like for me with a business, as a coach, with a career, with 3 kids, managing activities and pickup schedules and all the things that happen in my life and really what happens in the lives of busy parents all over the place. I don't think my story here is that much more unique than anybody else's, but maybe how I manage it and how I'm able to stay consistent is a bit unique. And so I'm excited to break things down and talk about what my routine looks like. And the key here, I think that the main point that I'm going to want to hammer home and emphasize and hopefully get across to you is how I take an unbelievably busy routine and try to turn it into something that actually makes each day easier. Okay. One thing is going to build on another, and throughout the day, all of these habits that I've just been forced to build over the last decade have actually turned into making my days pretty darn efficient, manageable, and have just kept me on track with the things that I need to do and help me stay consistent with exercising and my diet and all that good stuff. So we're going to dive into that in today's episode. But the other big thing, the second big thing, there are 2 big things I want to talk about, is that my scholarship sale is live right now, okay? Between August 25th and August 29th, that's this week, Monday through Friday. Friday at 11:59 p.m. is when this thing cuts off. This week, I am offering up to $10,000 in scholarships to busy parents just like yourself who want to lose 20 plus pounds, want to build muscle, want to get back on track after an unbelievably busy summer. That always tends to be the case, right? Because we have vacations, the kids are out of school, so then they are in different camps and different activities that have schedules all over the place. And of course, none of those schedules line up perfectly with one another. So you are forced to spend your summer not only managing the regular family stuff, waking up, getting to school, not getting to school on time, getting to wherever you need to be on time, getting to work on time, preparing dinner, and then wash, rinse, repeat day after day, finding a way to be a chauffeur for your kids and getting everybody where they need to be throughout the day. But, oh yeah, you got to stay afloat in your career, and you got to make sure that you're being there for the people who work for you or the people that you work for and your boss. And summers are just absolutely crazy. And I talk to y'all all the time. I talk to busy parents all the time about the barriers that are in place for you. And oftentimes summer continually comes up as one of those barriers, one of those times of the year where it's just impossible to stay consistent. And so I started figuring out that, hey, there might be an opportunity here to capitalize on you getting a bit of your routine back, capitalize on the fact that the kids are going back to school. And so there's at least a bit of structure coming back to your Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, or I guess really 7:30 to 3 with the school schedule. And so this scholarship offer, this $10,000 scholarship sale, is my effort to give you that little nudge to help you invest in yourself if this is something that you've been wanting to do for a while but just haven't been able to pull the trigger on. Okay, so time is obviously something that creates a lot of problems for us. And then as a parent, you're always hesitant to invest in yourself because you have to invest in everybody else in your family. And so I want to kill 2 birds with one stone here and really put you in a position of power to be able to invest in yourself by giving you some free money to be able to do it, right? So the way the scholarship sale works is that you can apply to receive a scholarship. That link to apply is in the show notes of this episode. When you apply to receive a scholarship, one person will receive a full free ride, 4-month scholarship to my one-on-one online fitness coaching program. It's just kids going to school, right? Some kids can go on a scholarship where it means they provide financial aid for you to study at their institution. I'm going to provide you with 4 free months of coaching just to work with me so that I can help you. One person is going to get that. And then up to 10 additional people will be eligible to receive partial scholarships, which means if you don't get the free scholarship, that doesn't mean you get nothing. you could get 1 or more months free in my online fitness coaching program, which means, yeah, you have to invest in yourself financially a little bit, but a lot less than usual because we're blowing things out, right? We're doing a huge sale here going into fall, going into this back to school season that we're all in. So I cannot stress the urgency of this enough. If you are interested, if I've piqued your interest, if this sounds like you, if it feels like this is something that you need help with and now might be the right time to invest in yourself, go hit that link in the description, submit your application, and I will reach out to you so we can talk more about your goals and see if you would be a good fit and a good candidate to receive a free scholarship, okay? Once the spots fill up, the spots fill up. And I will say, I anticipate that this scholarship sale, based on how it's already been going, is probably going to put me at the end of it in a position where I will very likely not be able to take on new clients for the rest of the year. So for the rest of 2025, I will very likely not have a spot available if you down the road decide you want to take advantage, you want to invest, you want to sign up for coaching. And when we really think about getting into the coaching program, we're getting into it here at the beginning of the back to school season. But then what happens is very quickly we get into the holiday season, which tends to be the most challenging time of the year for anybody, let alone parents, to manage your health and fitness, right? And so having that support, having that accountability, having a program and a support system that can guide you through these more challenging times of the year and put you in a position to succeed, it's hard to actually put a price on what that looks like. And the goal in my coaching program is to not only help you make progress while we're working together, but teach you and provide you with the tools and the knowledge base that you need in order to figure out how to manage and maintain that progress long-term on your own. Okay, so this is not a coaching program where I want you to build a super big reliance to me. No, I want you to invest in yourself so that you can make meaningful progress, make it sustainable, and then learn how to manage that long term so that this program can be something you look back on and say, hey, when I worked with Chris for that period of time, it was a game changer. It set me up for a lifetime of better health and fitness. That's what I want for every single client that I work with, okay? Hit that application link. This is literally the best time in the history of my coaching program to sign up for coaching. I've never run a sale like this, and I can promise you that if I ever run a sale like this again, it won't be until next back to school. See, I'm not giving away $10,000 again in the next 365 days. I promise you that much, okay? So I would highly recommend you take advantage of it now because it's probably not going to come back around for another year, if even. Because I may find out that I'm real stupid for giving away $10,000 to people, okay? So just hit the application link. Take advantage of this before I realize what a big mistake I'm making. No, I'm joking around. I'm so excited for this. I'm so excited for this to remove some barriers and help you get the results that you want and the sustainable progress that you deserve. So with all that said, all right, let's dive into what my routine looks like here, okay? And this is going to tie in very well to the scholarship sale and helping out busy parents. So I really just want to talk about, I don't have a script here. I have a little list of things basically about how my day goes. And I want to just ad lib this entire episode and just tell you what my days look like and talk about how these different steps throughout the day set me up for more success the next day. Okay. So typically, and I guess some background about me, I am a dad. I have 3 kids. We're now in this phase of life where I have one, my oldest is in kindergarten, and then I have 2 who are still in daycare. Okay, so now we have 3 kids on 2 different schedules. And part of the craziness is my daughter who's in kindergarten, it's only AM kindergarten. In our school district, they still only do half-day kindergarten. So she's in morning kindergarten, but then has to go to afternoon care before then she comes home. But even her return home time is earlier than the daycare times. To give you a picture here, it's get the kids to daycare and then get the oldest on the bus to go to kindergarten. And then she has to go from kindergarten around lunchtime over to her aftercare program. And then she's there for 2.5 hours. And then I pick her up from that and bring her home, only to then go get the other kids and then bring them home. That's the 9 to 5. Okay. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And this is just a phase of life. It is just a chapter of life. And you got to roll with the punches. And that's such an important concept to understand as a parent, or if you're anticipating having a family at some point, is that your life is going to get turned upside down. Let's be clear, for the better, because having kids is the best thing that's ever happened. And it is so much fun and it's awesome, but it's also stressful and it's hard to manage sometimes. You have to just understand that like routines have to change, habits have to change, but that does not mean you have to forego or sacrifice your health in order to survive the first decade of your children's lives. No, if you can actually put the work into building yourself up in that period of time, it's going to set you up to be a more capable parent. And the more you're actually able to invest in yourself, the more you're able to prioritize your own health and fitness, the better version of you you're able to give to your wife, to your husband, to your daughters, to your sons, to your entire family. Okay? So you not giving yourself that effort and that prioritization. It doesn't mean prioritize yourself 24 hours a day and say screw you to everybody else. No, we're talking about maximizing pockets of time here. But if you're able to do that, you will actually have a better quality of life. You will actually be better to everybody in your life that you want to be there for. Okay, so this is something you seriously need to consider. The parents who say, I'll get to it down the road, you are making a massive mistake. You are making a massive mistake, not only because you're going to dig yourself a hole with your health that's going to be very hard to climb out of when you're like 45, okay? It's going to be way harder to do it then than it is now because we always think, oh, down the road, I'm going to get more time back. You never get more time back. The nature of what you do with your time just changes. You don't get more time back. And so that's one factor, obviously, but like you're going to spend a large chunk of your life actually being less of the person you want to be because you're just not giving yourself the time and attention that you deserve. Okay. So let's prioritize you here. And so that since that is the case for me, this is what my days typically look like because I want to prioritize myself amidst everything else. Now, as a business owner and my career centered around my coaching business, I have some inherent flexibility that a lot of people maybe don't have. Although I think times have really changed lately with COVID and people getting more remote work opportunities. We're getting more flexibility in the workday, which is nice. And workplaces are becoming more open and sensitive to the health and wellness of their employees, which is great too. But in order to handle all this stuff, I'm like doing work before the family wakes up and then we do stuff. And then in the middle, I'm doing stuff and then the family comes home and then at night I'm doing. So here's the entire breakdown. What I do every morning, I wake up at 4:45 and the first thing I do is I wake up. I have a makeshift sauna in my basement with a cold tub next to it. 4:45, wake up. I get in that sauna for 15 minutes, and then I do the cold tub for 2 minutes. My cold tub is typically between 50 to 60 degrees, so not the craziest cold water temperature, but cold enough. And I would tell you the reason that I do this, it's not for anything magic. I've just always dealt with back spasms and back issues that are typically triggered by stress. And I have found over the past year that investing in these two things, and they're not very expensive. The sauna that I have, it's not like a beautiful wooden sauna like you see at a health club. I call it a sweat tent. You could find them on Amazon for $150. It's just like basically a tent that has a machine attached to it that turns it into a sauna. And then I bought an inflatable cold tub on Amazon for $45. But I have found that this is the best year of back health that I have had since I started a family. So the best in 5 years. I wake up and do those things to put me in a position to not have a back spasm, to not have a super sore, creaky feeling body, because if I have that, then I am going to struggle to be there for my family. If I can't pick the kids up or I can't help pull groceries into the house out of the car because my body's so sore. No, when I do this, it helps my body feel really good. So I wake up and do that. It's like immediately, hey, good for the mind, good for the body, good for the family, right off the bat. After that's typically like a half hour. Then from 5:15, 5:30 until the family wakes up around 6:37, I am in my office. I'm getting client check-ins ready for the day, prepping my day from a business perspective so that I can get all of that out of the way. Then around 7 o'clock, have breakfast with my family. And once breakfast is over, we start the whole shuttling kids back and forth to different places process. And then my workday begins, right? So my workday begins around 8. There's a little period of time there where I'm taking my daughter to the bus stop, but that's really close to the house, so that's not a big deal. And then at that point, I'm doing client check-ins. The workday begins, replying to client emails, and just getting everything prepped for the day. So then I have that first chunk of time to actually focus on work. Midday, this is a change that I made probably 10 or 15 years ago now. Midday on my lunch hour is actually when I train. I found that it's always been really hard for me to wake up super early in the morning to show up to the gym, have the energy to like feel like I can actually put something good into my workout. And so I just over time through trial and error found out really early morning, I just don't feel like I have it. After work at the end of the day, man, I just don't feel like I have it either. I'm so exhausted by the day, the stressors of the workday. The last thing I want to do is then have to go to the gym and muster up the energy or the enthusiasm to be there. So I've found that midday window of time has been really good. And basically what I've decided is, I decided this a long time ago, is that I'm going to sacrifice a sit-down lunch. I don't need to sit at the table or go out with employees because, hey, it's me. This is my business. I'm the only one here. I've just decided I don't need to have a formal lunch. I can use my lunch hour to go train at the gym. And so from noon to 1:30-ish, that's my workout. I still have really good energy levels midway through the day. I've had some caffeine in the morning, right? So that helps me get some energy for the workout too. That has tended to work out really well for me. And I've recommended that to a lot of clients, which, works out really well for them as well. And so how this sets me up for success the next day is that I'm hitting my training consistently, right? It energizes me for the back half of the day so that I'm not having a 3:30, 4 o'clock really big dip in energy because training energizes you. You know what I mean? And so that kind of builds me up for the back half of the day, makes me feel really energized, really capable. Also, consistently exercising allows you to get better quality sleep. And so then that's going to benefit me later in the day because I got the training in. It's just felt like the best, and it has worked out to be the best time of day and the best consistent cadence that I've ever had with working out is doing it on my lunch hour. So if you have the ability to do that, I would imagine wherever you work, they give you a lunch hour, right? If they don't, you should find a different job, to be clear. But I would imagine you have a lunch hour. Take advantage of that. Take advantage of that lunch hour and see if there's a Planet Fitness. Tends to be that there's a Planet Fitness within 5 miles of where anybody is. So find a Planet Fitness, get a gym membership there for $5 or whatever stupid low price that they offer. Get a workout in on your lunch hour. It's amazing how much you can do, even if it is a 15-minute drive there. It's amazing what you can get done in a half hour. So 15-minute drive there, half-hour workout, 15-minute drive back. If you can do that and get 30 minutes consistently, 3, 4, 5 days a week, man, you're going to make tons of progress. It's going to energize you. It's going to put you in such a good position, okay? I really love that lunch hour workout. So that's how that looks. And then when the workout's over, back to work, right? I make myself a lunch. I'm eating that at my desk, which if you're watching this podcast episode on YouTube, that's where we're at right now. And actually right now is normally when I eat, but I'm recording a podcast instead. So making up a lunch, getting it back at the desk, and then hopping back on the computer here to basically bang out as much work as possible until the pickup starts with the kids, right? And so then late afternoon, I guess early afternoon, right? Around 2:30, between 2:30 and 3, and then right around 4, that's when we're picking all the kids back up and bringing them home. And then we have dinner after that. And then since the beginning part of the day was so efficient, we got big chunks of work in, right? We blocked out those periods of time where we're able to get the work in. And then you have the chunk of time where you're able to get the training in. You're able to cross so many things off the list, and you hopefully get to the point where dinner time is there where you can just step away from the computer, step away from the phone, and be able to have that family time before bedtime. So then we get to that bedtime window, and whenever the kids go down for bed, which can be a kind of a circus over here, whenever that happens, then it's often back onto the computer into the office to really not necessarily square away things from the previous day, because ultimately, ideally, that's already happened, but more so use that 8:30 to 9:30 p.m. window of time to just create the to-do list for the next day. Because I've found if you can create the to-do list for the next day, the day before, then you can rest at ease with your mind when you go to bed and not have to worry about, what is coming up tomorrow? What do I have to be responsible for? Is there anything that I'm forgetting? If you get that down on paper ahead of time, even if there are stressful things on the to-do list, at least they're on the list, right? At least you have a very clear understanding of what's required of you the next day. And when that's down on paper, then, like I said before, I have that morning routine where I wake up, hit the cold tub sauna, and then I'm right to work, right? For a while before the family wakes up. If you can have that list, it does allow you to get right to work, right? When you want to start that initial block of work, that initial chunk of time to really start your day off the best way possible, doing that work the night before allows you to just get right into it, right? It's another piece to the puzzle that kind of allows me to set up the next day, and each action hopefully sets up the next action to be easier. It's a lot of stuff. As you can see, it's a lot of stuff that's happening, but that doesn't mean that the day or the week has to be a train wreck. You can structure these things and build habits into each one of these things where it's like you're doing the thing, but you're also doing it in a way that allows it to be efficient the next day, allows it to be easier the next day. And then so we have that period of time at the end of the day where we're mapping things out for tomorrow. Then bedtime happens at a reasonable hour. Okay. So typically 8:30 to 9:30 p.m. is that prep for the next day. And then it's straight to bed, which I know can be hard. And I like, this took a while for me to bake into the routine, which was more or less like putting the kids to bed, getting shit done, and then I'm getting to bed. But it became so evidently clear over time that like, if I'm not prioritizing my own bedtime, my own sleep, I'm going to bed with 3 kids that are young. Like, you never know what's going to happen in the middle of the night. Who's going to wake up? How many hours am I going to be awake in the middle of the night? Like I've always, I can't say always, but like over the last 2 or 3 years, I've just done everything I possibly can to maximize that amount of time my body can be in bed in hopes that I can maximize the amount of time my body can actually sleep. Bedtime is 9:30 also so that I can wake up at the 4:45-ish time, 5 o'clock in the morning time the next day and be able to say I had 8 hours in bed. Okay, if you're getting up at 4:45, but you're going to bed at 11, you're setting yourself up for failure because you're going to get 6 hours in bed. But if the kids wake up, that means you're down to 5, maybe 4.5. And there's no way you can be productive and at the top of your game the next day when that's all the sleep that you're getting the night before. So getting to bed on time, saying, I'm not going to watch the show. I'm going to miss the fourth quarter of the football game or the third period of the hockey game, but it's going to set me up tomorrow to have it not be a train wreck, to have it not be super stressful, and to have me be able to hit all these things that I know I have to do because this is the chapter of life that you're in, right? So once again, like from the beginning of the day to the very end of the day, the schedule, the structure, the habits are all to make really the next thing that you got to do as easy and efficient as it possibly can be. And obviously things are going to happen that derail this. Kids get sick, stuff comes up, you got to be somewhere, you got to have to take care of something, a fire breaks out over here that you got to address. That's going to happen. This is never perfect. But you can structure this type of stuff in the best possible way to set you up for as much successes consistently as possible. Okay. And so that's really the rationale here of why this whole routine is structured the way it is. So it's a lot of stuff. But I just share it to hopefully hammer home the point that like, just because you're a busy parent, just because you have a lot going on, you got 2, 3 kids, they got activities, you got a career, just because you have all that stuff, it does not mean that you cannot prioritize yourself. It does not mean that every day has to be a 10 on the stress meter. It just means that the nature in which you approach your days has to change. And if it hasn't, and what I'm describing sounds like your life, then we got to change some habits, okay? And perhaps this scholarship sale right now is the perfect opportunity to do that. What a segue, right? I did not know that was going to happen, but it just came to me. Round of applause. But seriously, perhaps this scholarship sale is the perfect opportunity for you to be able to do that. We can work, and this is stuff that I do with my clients every day, right? We build routines. We analyze what your lifestyle looks like right now. We analyze what types of strategies maybe make the most sense to get inputted into your lifestyle. And then obviously we're trying to make this as consistent and sustainable as possible so that you make progress amidst the crazy busy life that you have. And I can't emphasize this enough. If you can find ways to make progress while you are busy, it bulletproofs you for the future. It puts you in a position where you can manage your health and fitness no matter what life throws at you. It bulletproofs you. Okay. So like oftentimes people say, oh, I'm so busy. Now's not the right time. Now's the best time if you're busy. Okay. And with this scholarship, we're giving you some free money to be able to do it. Oftentimes cost can be a concern or a barrier as well. I'll tell you this much. When you put money on the line to invest in yourself, it makes you take the process more seriously, which means it leads you to make more progress. So that's actually a good reason to do it, but I'm going to help you out and throw some free money your way if you end up getting awarded a scholarship so that we can do it the right way and remove some of that barrier as well. Like I said before, hit that link in the show notes and get your application in. I hope to hear from you. I'm super excited about this offer and super excited to help a bunch of new people and welcome folks into my coaching program. If nothing else, hope that this episode was helpful and interesting to get a feel for the routines that I go through throughout the day. Hopefully there's a nugget or two here that you can pick out for yourself and apply to your lifestyle. And this helped, let me know. But either way, I'm looking forward to talking to you again in the next episode. So thanks so much for listening. Hit that link in the show notes, and I will talk to you soon.